Will AI write all our code? The stand-up, episode 2. Okay, I think I've calmed down. Since the last episode. Where I was going off on these guys. I'm Chris Dennis. I'm a Campy developer. Tech Sport's coming out for that. We'll get that thing closed up and no more complaints. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with this episode of the stand-up, which this is a really long stand-up, guys. It's supposed to be 15 minutes tops, but we're going to listen to what they had to say. And let's go.
But we're gonna keep on going with the AI because this is my favorite segment of the day, and I hope everybody has done their homework because we are now going to look at the CEO of Anthropic, and he says the following.
Now getting to kind of the job side of this.
Anthropic. Okay, so an AI company. I wonder what an AI company is going to say about hyping up his AI systems. So to get his sales numbers up.
I do have a fair amount of concern about this. On one hand, I think comparative advantage is a very powerful tool. If I look at coding, programming, which is one area where AI is making the most progress.
Is it making the most progress there? Can you validate that? Are you sure, or is that where we're making the most progress, or is it making the most progress of like bullshitting everybody? Let's keep going.
What we are finding is we are not far from the world. I think we'll be there in 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. He didn't give a number, guys. So we can check back 6 months from now and see if he's actually correct, which he won't be.
AI is writing 90% of the code.
Wow, that's a big number, guy, for Anthropic AI company who's all about writing code for people. Now, I'll agree. I do use these tools for writing code, but I'm directing it. Now, writing code is like coming from my ideas, from my context, from my architecture, from my business use case. The writing the code is the tippy top, right? It's the most visible part, right? It's the typey part. It's the most visible, but the thinking and talking and figuring and intuiting our way, and art, taste, curation, leaving things out, what to put in, why, ethics, morals. No, just the code. It's code generation. Anthropic says its code generation is going to be 90%. And you pretty much can you can put money on that's a money in the bank. These guys.
And then in 12 months, we may be in a world where AI is writing essentially all of the code.
Oh, it's essentially all of the code. Wow, the Anthropic CEO is like, oh, yes, all the code would be written in 12 months. Now, is this the same kind of shit that was going on when they were converting from machine language to assembly language? And we brought the assembly language stuff in there, and then we went from assembly language to compilers. And people thought, oh my God, all the codes will be written by compilers. It's like, is all the code written by compilers? Where's the code really still written by human beings driving these machines around for our purposes? Anthropic AI code generation CEO.
So, is AI going to be writing essentially all of the code in 1 year from today? Oh gosh, TJ, right off the rip.
TJ, go, TJ.
TJ.
Yes, it will be, because people will be able to generate 1 billion lines of code in an instant, and it will all be slop, but it doesn't matter because by the metric of who's written almost all of the code, it will be AI.
Right, okay, good point, DJ. Tej DV, DJ, sorry, I missed that one. Tej DV, good point. Yes, statistically speaking, if humans are writing 1 million lines of code and the AI is writing 100 trillion lines of code, yes, by the laws of calculus, that is going to shrink down to be, might as well, 1 million lines, irrelevant. It'd be a rounding error. It's noise in the system. And yes, AI is going to be writing all the slop. And who's going to have to go through that slop and figure out if it's fit for purpose or necessary or needed, or can we throw it away? Is it ethical? Is it moral? Who's going to be deciding that? Anthropic CEO of code generation? No answer for that. Let's keep going.
It will be impossible for me to keep up. I cannot write 1 billion lines per day.
There's actually there might be an accidental truth here, because he didn't say it technically.
Accidental? What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that I assume from his side he's actually saying that.
I don't think he meant to. Maybe he said it accidentally, but it's definitely true.
All companies need to adjust right now. Like, all of your engineers are effectively going to be not as valuable. It's actually going to be the tool that they're selling that happens to be where all the value's at.
The value in the engineer is not in the fucking code generation. Holy shit. Anthropic CEO, I know you're marketing the fuck out of your company. You're doing a great job. You got most people fooled for now. 3 to 6 months from now, maybe a different story. But right now, you have people, you got their ears. I'm going to replace all your engineers. As if engineers, we're just code generation units. Is that what we are? We're about to find out.
your engineers are really just the cart driver, whereas the goods that are really in the cart itself that you kind of want to purchase. But it might just be that, TJ, that is so much overwhelming code going to be generated that people who are not using that.
The cart driver versus what's in the cart. No, we're not just pulling code around. We're actually, the whole point of an engineer is to look at a problem and find a solution. Whether it's code or not code or leaving code out, every line of code is a freaking bug. Every line of code is a liability. No, so less lines of. How about less lines of code is the thing where humans are good for. Leaving stuff out. The AI just shoves it in there. It'll never say no. It's like, yes, more. It'll never delete anything. How delete? No. We are code generating. That's our value, not the code deleting. Oh, how dare you even suggest?
Or people that are even editing it are so far behind by accident. He is correct. And in 12 months, it will be just so large that it'll be like 0.1% will be hand artisanal code and impossible to keep up with. Now, Casey, I know you love AI.
Hand artisanal. Oh, that assembly language. That's artisanal. Dude, what are you talking about? These guys are a little lost. Again, a little bit lost in the sauce of what you're actually doing and how important each part of this thing is and the relative value. A lot of the stuff in the code generation part of like making the machine do the thing. There's been a lot of work on that. I think we got it. I think we got that now. now, what do we make it do for who? Now that becomes a question. Who's going to decide that? The AI is going to take over and do that. Like, no, you're going to have those pesky engineers, those damn human engineers, those non-code generating 1 million line of code generating damn engineers are going to have to make those damn decisions. And who's going to delete the code? The AI is never going to delete the code. Let's keep going.
And so you're probably going to side with this guy in probably a shorter time frame. Do you think that you will be writing your C and your game engine and your optimizations with AI within the next 12 months?
I mean, we're doing it now. Where you have to, if you don't think just going and being abused on Stack Overflow is the right way. No, we're going to still use the machines to write stuff, just like the C compiler. Thank you, Dennis Ritchie. Goes down and you can write it in any assembly. You've now decoupled that crazy platform-specific baloney, super complicated, and you've simplified it. And we all go through those phases. And right now, AI is being used to kind of bridge that gap. But eventually, we have to have a new platform that's much more humane, much more maintainable, extendable. Basically, you need to listen to Alan Kay. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a free course, How to Program from the Ground Up, with minimal BS, which I go into detail, the difference between class-oriented programming and back to object-oriented programming, which is what Alan Kay is talking about, which is to get us out of this mess of complexity. He easily has to be, but the performance, direct access. Like, yeah, you can't get direct access. You're going to have you have to work the performance in there somehow. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck with using these damn AI tools to try and rank out a little bit more efficiency out of this complexity that the complexity we've created for ourselves. Let's keep going.
Oh man, so the weird thing is you always pick these like very complicated topics, and then you're like, we're gonna get through it in 10 minutes, guys.
Yes, stand up. We gotta get through it. Come on, it's not that hard. People are scamming. Let's keep going.
I have no idea what AI is going to do in the future. I've said this many times. The current kind of AI that they've got is never going to do much, in my opinion. Like when
Agreed. I agree, Casey. You were fucking on it right there, buddy.
The current AI that they've got, basically what it is it's able to sort of mush stuff together in a way that the code that it's generating shouldn't probably have existed. So it's generating code that.
Thank you. It was supposed to be deleted. He's making my point in a different way. Let's keep going.
A better programmer wouldn't have even had that layer that's there. Right?
Exactly. You would have deleted it. It was like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? Who is this for? It's like, it's industry standard. The AI put it in there. We don't really understand it, but if we delete it, the whole thing breaks.
they would have done something much better that didn't require the code that the AI actually put in there. So AI right now is not generating very usable code from the standpoint of actually doing a good job, but
it depends on the level, right? It depends on where you're putting it and what you're asking it to do. Make me Facebook. It's like, no, dude. But if you can say, how do I center a div? It's like, yeah, I got you. How do I which array sorting routine do I use on this particular platform in this particular language? It's like, I got you. Or how do I do a loop here? How do I do a SQL search for this thing? Or how do I lay this thing out here in my compose? I got you. But you got to know all that stuff, how that stuff works and how it's fit for your purpose and what you're trying to do with it, whether it makes sense or not. But if you got all that stuff, that knowledge, the high level, like put things, how these blocks are, the little connectors, the little things down at the bottom, you got to know what they do. You got to read it, fit for purpose. You're going to be deleting it if it don't work. That's the engineer. That's what the engineer is for. If I could sum it up, the engineer is there to delete crap you don't need. Let's keep going.
On the flip side,
the average programmer in their job is also not generating that kind of code. Like, they are mostly doing that kind of glue layer stuff that really shouldn't have been there, but it's because they're going to use this library and this high-level database thing and whatever, and they're going to mush them together, and they're sort of sometimes going to work.
He gets it.
And they're going to have a bunch of exploits because the coding doesn't work and all this other stuff, right? And the AI can easily generate that code. So
yeah, that's the stuff that's like, it's paying the dick to mess with. Yeah, Android's full of that junk. Thankfully, Compose and KMP and Kotlin is reducing a lot of stuff, especially if you follow Alan Kay's stuff, how to structure your applications. Yeah, you can get away. You're gonna get away from these complexities, which were there for performance. I get it. It was there for performance. I know you say that every time.
when people talk about how much code is going to be written by AI, I'm never quite sure what they mean. If they mean AI will eventually get to the point where it can actually totally do that job, I vaguely believe you. I can't say for sure that I think that will happen, but I could believe that would happen in a year.
No.
If you mean that the AI is
absolutely not, absolutely not, because you just gotta have humans. Who are the humans saying what this thing should do? Who's gonna be talking to the machine? You gotta have the machine has limitations. The solution space of the machine is limited right now. And how limited? Where can we push that there? Push it out there? Is it inside the space we already know, or are we pushing the edges?
write any actually new code that's useful, like it's going to actually do a better job writing this PNG reader than a human would have done or whatever. I don't believe it because I haven't seen any evidence of that yet. It doesn't mean it can't happen.
I doubt that. I doubt that. I think you still have to have human direction now. All the stuff at the bottom, yes. Tests, writing tests, fuck yes. Sort of. You still got to know, like, I don't want to test every damn thing because then I have to update every damn thing. I do have the AI that's going to go through and update everything yet. I haven't seen that yet. Maybe it exists. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Definitely not deleting stuff. Just like, you don't need this. You get rid of this. We won't need this. And then I tell you why we're deleting it and all that junk. Yeah, you're going to need an engineer for that.
I just think it's going to need, like, it could happen, but it's going to require them to make some breakthroughs. And it's impossible for me
to... Yeah, with what? Look, man, the stuff they've been showing us now is based on technology was like introduced 3 years ago, and it's already hit the top of the S-curve. So if it's going to show something, they're going to have some other method of going through this, which I see no signs of. They really want to ramp up this GPU neural network tensor thing. Let's keep going.
Predict when breakthroughs will happen. Maybe the breakthrough happens next week, and then we can have it in a year. Maybe the breakthrough doesn't happen for 10 years, and then we don't have it for an entire decade. And I just don't know.
Here's the thing, Casey. I don't think they're going to allow us to have a tool that has anywhere near human level intelligence and allow the public to have that. The governments of the world, for obvious reasons, if like do I go into detail about why they would want a human level intelligence not in the hands of regular people, that they would want to reserve that for military purposes and for controlling the planet's humans. Come on, man. And you know, there's a lot of evidence. I can see the evidence that where they may have already achieved something like that. It's already running the show. It's already running all this stuff, and they haven't told anybody about it. And it's been running it since like 2008 or some bullshit like that, or 2000 or something. Who knows? There's evidence. Like I could be reasoned into thinking that there may be an AI that the government or whoever's owns the government or the people in charge have some access to some machine that's using this kind of stuff to monitor the society and give suggestions about what to do next. Not actually doing the things, but like telling the people in charge which way to go and why. And they have to use their judgment which way they want to go, which is going to be, come on, let's be honest. They're not going to give up control of humans. Come on. So the thing about it is, to get to the next jump, they're going to have that kind of thing, some sort of sentient being, and which is, again, I've gone into different videos about how that's going to be highly unlikely because you're going to have a living creature in there that's had all the experiences that humans have had and understand what's going on with the thing to make it simulate what you want and have all the human desires, understandings, which I don't know if you can actually do that, or even if the powers that be would allow that to even allow us to have that, because what we can do with it. Yes, Casey, all these guys are like, well, we're going to make an amazing game with it. It's like, well, there's other people that would do something a little bit more, let's say, dangerous with superhuman or human or superhuman level intelligence. Come on now. Let's keep going. We're not just going to use, I want to generate code with this. Like, no, man. No, there are people who take over the planet with that shit.
Oh, right. I don't work in that field, so I don't want to make...
Or keep it taken over.
Predictions about their breakthroughs. So that's my honest opinion about it. I think, I wouldn't want to be out there saying that in 3 months it's going to write 95% of the code. But, I mean, like I said, I'm not even sure what that really is talking about, so it's hard
to... Yeah, it's just marketing blurbs, man. No scientific evidence, no studies, no backup. And it's from the company that's promoting their freaking stock and promoting their thing so they can get people to buy it so they can make it to next quarter so they can cash out for the rest of their life and have generational wealth. Come on, man. You think all they gotta do is lie? All they gotta do is say, oh yeah, in 6 months we're gonna 90-100%. You don't think there's a slight incentive, sir, to lie, and like this has been going on for years now. And these guys are like, no, I guess maybe I don't know. I could see it, but it's like, no, they're lying, dude. If they could do it, they'd already have done it. They've already, because you can bring time forward, and you can bring things forward, and we would already see demonstrations of those things that they're talking about already. Not 6 months from now. If we're that close, we'd already have it. Let's be, come on, man. Like, these guys are smart, but they're kind of dumb at the same time. Golly gee, would they ever lie? It's like, God, they're lying the whole damn time.
For me to say.
So Casey, why can't you just embrace the vibe? I mean, honestly, that's what I'm hearing right now. Is you're just not embracing the vibe and being the vibe. Yeah, dude.
Embrace the vibe. Yeah, that's that marketing. Ooh, yeah. It's the groovy thing to do. To believe the AI is gonna take over everything. Yeah, that's vibe it, man. I heard that vibe coding thing. I'm like, and that's coming from these people thinking that these people are gonna write their games for them, and without having to understand how games are written. I'm like, come on, man.
Double down right now. Yeah. Vibe code right now. I don't even think I can program for the rest of the day after hearing you talk about this.
If my AI's down, I can't either. I got two points along with Casey's thing. The first one is I have yet to see like a long-running LLM kind of thing where it's not guided by humans. There's no expertise involved. Where it we want to say like reduces the entropy of the system.
I haven't seen it either. It reduces the entropy. I haven't seen it where it actually will like get the thing done. It's like we've had so many shows on this channel. Like if they could do even 1% of what they said that this shits could do, like all this code, engineering stuff, they would already be doing it, and we wouldn't be sold. It wouldn't be like I just went through that. They wouldn't sell it to us. They wouldn't allow us to have it.
Something that's complex and make it simpler. Does it work towards the goal of making it simpler, or does it simply add on things on top and make them more complicated? If it can reduce
adds thing does never deletes. It doesn't know delete. Delete has not been put in the system. Delete doesn't know. It doesn't know delete. Only humans know delete because humans can curate for what's fit for human purposes. It doesn't know what we want for your particular application, what your customers want today. Come on.
Then my earlier prediction / joke will come true because it will have to continue generating billions of lines of code to continue to wrap all of the complicated stuff until
right. You can Winchester House the hell out of it. Yeah, you can totally Winchester House. I think of it. If you don't know what that is, or the San Jose Winchester House, you look into it. Yes, you can Winchester the house, the whole thing. Put buffers around buffers, and put pillows around trees to protect. Yeah.
Then I don't see human expertise being useless, right? Which is kind of like what sometimes people pull out from this, which is not true. Like it could be that the AI writes all the code, and
so the business people who their biggest expense, their biggest pain, their biggest is dealing with employees. So guess what? When these companies, AI, this is amazing technology, they come out and they say you can get rid of employees. Who do you think it is that's totally down for that? It's the managers and the business people who want to get rid of people or make them into a cog where they don't have to deal with them and they're all one unit and they can just be plugged in and plugged out. And if they start to unionize or start to cause any problems, you just get rid of them, bring a bunch of H-1Bs in. What? This is what you have to see the marketing, man. These technical people, they're too down in the tech. And I know why, because they're all programmers. I'm a programmer too, but I've been upside. I'm older. I've been in and out of this thing. And I can see and smell the fucking lying and the scamming and the like people not questioning, like, hey man, these guys are fucking lying about everything. Like, how about, hey, from now on, you got to demonstrate anything you come up with, Mr. Anthropic CEO. You got to demonstrate that stuff. You can't just throw it out there. That's like stock manipulation. It's a baited hazard where you're promising stuff that you're going to steal from people later. How is this even legal? Like, why isn't the SEC involved with some of this? Like, they don't care because they're getting all paid off, right? So this is the late stage pseudo capitalism that we live in, fake capitalism. Yeah, and these guys are like, no, it's still the 90s. Everything's legit.
Expertise is still very useful, right? That's a separate question. And then the second one is once like Anthropic or ChatGPT or whatever, when they can finally make a chat app better than T3.chat, shout out Theo, right? Then I'll believe that their LLMs are good enough to take my job. Because like, why are they not making their own products good? Like it's
right. Why aren't they making their own products good? Why aren't they upgrading these things to be completely efficient? I mean, they know these problems because the reason why, THDV, is because they're lying. They're fucking lying. They're cheating. They're stealing. They're doing stock pumps. They're doing IPOs. They're cashing out generational wealth. And they don't give a fuck and nobody's stopping them and nobody says anything. It's like, well, we'd like to see in 6 months. Like, they've been saying this stuff for years and they're still not here. It ain't never going to be here because let's be logically tick thing. Yes, they've been making their own products, but I think he's going to get to the point where I think he's going to go with this. He's going to say, look, man, if they ever get this fucking AGI shit, they're never going to tell you or sell you. They're just going to take over Amazon and take over IBM. They took over all the oil companies. And now we took over Iran, Iraq, and we took over Britain. And we just we did a cash buyout of Britain, and now we have them. Now the whole world, every country is now Amazon country. Let's keep going.
Why can they not make a chat app? Good.
Well, here's a related question, which is, if you actually thought
Anthropic country. It's now Anthropic bucks. They go tube up to your house. It's the Anthropic tube. And they just supply everything that you ever wanted before you even know you want it. Let's keep going.
that you could ship something that could generate all this code, why are you giving it to anybody? Why don't you just use it to make all of the products yourself, and then you can capture all of these giant markets? The lie that sort of...
Thank you, Casey. Yes, thank you. He's bringing it up. Let's keep going.
You're lying it is very clear at that person, like, oh, actually what you want to do is just make something barely good enough that an engineer might use it, and then sell it to them. So you clearly don't really have any plans to make this...
He gets it. Casey, thank you.
Thing be actually good enough to take their job, because they're your customer and you kind of want them to buy it, so you want as many of them as possible. So not only do you want them to be buying it and needing a human there, you don't even want to reduce the number of humans that do it. You want to keep that number as big as possible, because that's where your paycheck comes from, right?
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Yes, these products do have a limited use case, but they're not going to fucking take over the whole thing. And the thing is, we're going to watch all these companies have to rehire us or get taken direct competition from all the people, like all the engineers they got rid of. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I said before.
Will you guys come back to work for us? Like, no, we'd rather just take over your company and get rid of you.
Like OpenAI you will never find out that they have like proper AGI, whatever that means, from a press announcement. You will find out when they've remade your business in an afternoon.
Exactly.
Like, that's when you'll know, because it will just be a matter of compute. So there's like they're not going to tell you, by the way, hey Microsoft, we reinvented you. Hey Amazon, we reinvented you today.
Yes.
Airbnb, we reinvent. Like
Yes.
they are just going to do that and say, congrats, we're the first ever quadrillion company. We are all the companies.
Exactly.
Like, they're not going to give you that shovel. They're just going to use it for themselves, right? Yeah.
And they're going to go after the governments, and they're going to go after all the governments are going to be Amazon government or Anthropic government, and that'll be the end of it. And you'll get your stuff through a tube, and you don't have to go to work. And yeah, that's this is going to be this, and then there'll be no reason. Then the tube will stop, and you'll be like, "What happened to my tube?" It's like, well, we decided it wasn't cost effective to send all these things out to you anymore. You're like, what do I do now? I don't know. It's up to you guys.
I do like that idea of entropy and all that, TJ, where it's just a continual addition to the code base, because we were talking about that, Casey, where we actually walked through some code and we saw exactly that, which is, as of right now, every single instruction that I gave it was just additional new lines and layers onto the code base where you could evidently see that. And also the T3
Evidently see it. The only thing it does is add lines of code, man. What are you talking about? Evidently see it. Yes. The desert says delete it. He's like, you might want to take this out. No, fuck that. No. Come on now. Let's go.
chat thing. It is so true. It's like how... It just goes to show the difference between expertise and pretty good. Because I would argue that the people working on the UI and stuff at OpenAI, at Cloud, they're probably pretty dang good engineers.
Better than us. Yeah,
better than us for sure. For real. We've already tried it, like, even with Tailwind. I'm like, ugh. But obviously, like, Theo's whole thing is making like these.
What does that even mean? Better than us? What does that even mean? Do you have customers that you're servicing with your product or service, and you're providing value to them? Who cares if that's there? You're good. If you're not, you ain't good.
UI is nice and very, very nice, and he just went and showed that he outclassed all of them by himself.
At engineering for your product, for your per service, you ain't good for that. You're still good person in general, but like, look, every line's a bug. If I can do an engineering thing where I don't have any software involved and I can get the problem fixed, I'm gonna do that, man. What are you talking about?
And so therefore, or with one or two engineers or whatever it is, but they don't have this multi-billion-dollar budget. He was, off with a few engineers probably working on very different wage scale and was able to outcompete them. So it does show that there's like a whole realm of human ingenuity and expertise that is like hyper valuable still at this point.
No shit, man. Yeah, and it's all in like hibernation, but we're back on our heels. Like, what the hell? But those engineers who you got rid of, who are decent, can use these tools to spin up their own stuff and directly compete. That's my micro monopoly idea, and go niche down and directly compete.
Crash, we haven't heard anything from you.
I know you guys talk too much.
No, I keep hearing your keys click around. Can you shut up with your keys clicking? Yeah, I hear that, Mr. Clicky Clacky over there. I can tell because you're unengaged looking to the
No,
side.
that's not. I'm listening. I'm trying to find a time to jump in.
Okay, then get in. It's like double dot. You can't wait for double
I know.
dot.
Okay.
You
Well,
get
this
in.
is actually how my real stand-up is completely tuned out and just ready for someone to waiting for the screen to just turn black on the other meeting end, and then I go do something else. Okay. But actually, my whole take of this is I'm not very concerned. If anyone has been part of a company that has existed more than 3 years, they know that there's a legacy system that is completely undocumented. Nobody knows what does what. Tribal knowledge.
Tacit knowledge. Yes. Those legacy systems are made. How they were created. 2 weeks sprint was an industry standard. We might have had to cut some corners, but that's the industry standard. This legacy code. Which corners did you cut? Well, since you laid me off, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own.
Absolutely no way that this LLM can go in and figure out what this like library did that this engineer did 10 years ago when he quit like last week and he named all his functions wrong. Like, there's just no way.
Was
So
laid
for those
off.
reasons, like I was born.
Because the AI is gonna take over. We did a HAPAP management. We did a calculation, and we figured that with this AI coming on, We can get rid of James, Chris. Kick them out. We'll let the AI do their work. Whoops.
in legacy code, like my specialty is to go into
Do it in the
complete slop
Bengals.
and just figure it out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
what you're trying to
for
say
those
is
reasons,
Netflix engineers produce complete slop.
we gotta stop saying that. We gotta stop saying those words.
Crash is like ex-Netflix engineers.
Produce Netflix engineer.
No,
Latest
no.
full-time streamer. Crash Dev.
Can't wait to join the podcast full time.
Yep, happy to have you, Trash. Welcome. Welcome to the pod. You will be seeing
You
this
are
every
the
week.
worst. But you know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, you've all been part of legacy code that's just like pure tribal knowledge. It's insane. So, like, I haven't seen like an actual case of that happening. I know, like, Meta said they fired a bunch of
No,
people.
there's no
Maybe
way.
They got to work internally. I don't know.
We're talking about. That's why I'm talking about rewrites and stuff like that. That's why a lot of this stuff is open for direct competition because of how it was written, how it was created, and how they're treating people after the fact. They think they're gonna get a machine to replace a human being when all it does is spit out code. It doesn't delete anything, doesn't change anything, doesn't look at your things like, you might take this over here, but doesn't even know what you're trying to do with it. Would never know. Come on now. All right, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm Chris.